Hey guys, day 42 of 90. I'm Alan Thomas, and this is Rethink Dieting for Men. And I always tell my story. I get tired of telling it. You guys probably heard it over and over again, but I tell it for the people that might not have heard it before, not to impress you guys, but to impress upon you. In March of 2017, I stepped on the scales at the size of 304 pounds. I'm 5'11". When I got on the scales, the only thing I could think of was, oh my God, I was 55 years old. I've never met a man that's 65 and weighs over 100 pounds, is over 100 pounds overweight. At the time I was selling insurance. I was primarily focused on the senior market, folks over 65, and I'd sat literally with hundreds and hundreds, more like thousands of senior adults, and never met a 100-pound overweight 65-year-old. And so it was one of those just tipping points for me. I realized that I was going to be like, the guy that my wife had my picture over stuck in the corner, that I was going to be dead. I was going to be known as the first husband. When you walked in and said, "Who's that guy?" Oh, that was my first husband. And I also realized that I had all this potential in me that I really still wanted to realize, and I had a lot more life that I wanted to live. So it changed everything for me. I committed publicly to losing 129 pounds in 265 days. I hit that number in 260 days. And again, I don't say it to impress you. I shouldn't have been 304 pounds to start with. Are you kidding me? But I was. And it gave me a real appreciation for the men that struggle with obesity. I had tried hundreds, well, that's an exaggeration, dozens and dozens and dozens of diets, probably over 100, seriously. And many of them I tried over and over again. The program that I used to lose weight was one I'd failed on 5 or 6 times, but it was never, if it was just a diet that would get us healthy and get us to our ideal weight, wouldn't everybody have a 32-inch waist and 6-pack abs? I mean, come on. I mean, with all the knowledge that we have, with all the physical fitness training, with all the book knowledge, all these things, I mean, I talk to guys every day that are 100, 200, 300 pounds overweight, and they know a ton. They know a ton, but they don't know how to get their weight down. And that's where it really, gets to my heart, because I know what they're suffering with. I know the pain that's like to be morbidly obese. And, I just would say to you guys, a couple of things. I was driving, Angie and I go on an afternoon ride a lot of days when it's sunny out, and put the convertible top down, and that's why I got the hat on, because I've got convertible hair right now. So, we're riding, and I'm thinking about, what am I going to talk about on the live day? It's day 42. I got to come with something. And a couple of different things is, the life. I remember when I first started in the insurance business years ago, I got some CDs by Art Williams, who was the founder of A.L. Williams Insurance. I never worked with that organization, but he was a great motivator, ex-high school football coach that turned multi, I guess centimillionaire. I'm sure he's worth probably close to $1 billion. But he said something that always stuck with me. He said, "Life will give you what you'll fight for." And I believe that's true in when it comes to weight loss. And so, and it also made me think about a podcast interview that I did with John Lee Dumas, who has Entrepreneur on Fire, and we were talking, and he, and I said, what, I asked him a question about, what would he say to somebody that thinks they can't do something? He said, and he bounced back to me really one of Henry Ford's old sayings, which was, "If you think you can, you're right. If you think you cannot, you're right." And so I run into that all the time with men. They think they can't. They think they can't. Cannot. They cannot do this. They cannot do that. They cannot do this because I'm overweight, because I've failed so many times I cannot. And I would submit to you that it is possible. I'd submit to you to open your mind up that losing weight and reaching your ideal weight is possible. And also open your mind up to the fact that becoming your ideal weight is more than about what you eat. It's more than about your exercise. It's about your life. And are you willing to continue to mortgage your life for another bite of food? and we all have to eat to live. I mean, there's no question. But like we've all heard in the past, most of us heard, it's not about living to eat. And so food's good, but food should not be your recreation. And it was mine for years and years. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a good meal. I did today, but the point that I make to you is, if you think you can, you're right. And so when I think about, probably one of the biggest obstacles that I hear men talk about is, if they travel a lot. I get a lot of guys that have to travel in their work, and they tell me, well, I can't lose weight because I got to go to a restaurant. And what I would say to you is, there's a strategy. I have a strategy that works in 100% of restaurants everywhere in the world, that you can stick to any program. And it's not about a particular diet. It's about how you think about it. So that's where Rethink Dieting for Men comes in. It's not, the world does not need another diet, guys. There's plenty of them. I don't have another diet, but I believe I have a way to get out of the wilderness of obesity, and I know I do. And today I got tagged in a post by one of my clients who's had incredible results, and reaching a weight that he never thought he'd reach. I mean, and down 90 pounds, and he's around 5'8", I think 5'6", so it's a good bit of weight. And for that individual, and hearing those guys' stories as they're stepping into areas of their life and experiencing potential that they never thought they'd experience because obesity held them back. That was the question that haunted me. What is my weight was holding me back? When I was asked what was holding me back, it was my weight. And so, get out of the embarrassment mindset. Get out of the mindset that you have to settle for your current size. I don't care if you're 100 pounds overweight or 200 pounds overweight or whatever. You do not have to settle for it. I didn't have to settle. When I finally realized that, it really prompted me to really rethink dieting. And I tell people all the time, I'm not a doctor. I have no medical designations. I have no nutrition or dietitian degrees. I'm not a physical fitness expert. I'm just a guy that figured out a way through the wilderness of obesity. And what I'm passionate about is helping obese men overcome those pounds that hold them back from living to the potential that they were destined to live. Because there's so many guys, and I talked about this last night, there's so much potential out there among men who really, 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 if they had that weight off, they would do things that they've always dreamed about doing. They'd figure out that they weren't too old. They'd figure out that they could step into something more than just what they're settling for. So I invite you to rethink dieting. And if you really, really want to have a honest conversation, book a breakthrough session with me at transformmyfuture.com/apply. That's transformmyfuture.com/apply. Pick a spot on my calendar that works for you. It'll be the best 45 minutes you've spent probably in a long, long time, as it relates to your health and your ideal weight, and what really potential could be unlocked if you just were to rethink dieting and get these pounds off. So guys, be encouraged and think you can. Don't think you cannot. Think you can. So until tomorrow night, this is day number 42 and 90. I'm Alan Thomas with Rethink Dieting. You guys have a great evening.